Lesson 5, Juvenile Delinquency and Victimology. Juvenile Delinquency. Delinquency refers to any action, course, or conduct that deviates from acts approved by majority of people. It is a description of those acts that do not conform to the accepted rules, norms, and mores of the society. It is a general term for misconduct or misbehavior that is tantamount to felony or offense. It is, however, distinct from crime in the sense that the former may be in form of violation of law, ordinance, or rule, but it is punishable only by a small fine or short term, imprisonment, or both. Legally speaking, delinquency means failure to perform an act required by law, or non-performance of duty or obligation that is mandated by existing law or rule. Juvenile crimes denotes various offenses committed by children or youths under the age of 18. Such as acts are sometimes referred to as juvenile delinquency. Juvenile delinquency is used to describe a large number of disapproved behaviors of children or youth. Acts of juvenile delinquency include violation of law such as those defined by juvenile code and laws. Under with that, an antisocial act or behavior of minor which deviates from the normal pattern of rules and regulations, customs, and culture which society does not accept and which there justifies some kind of punishment or corrective measures. Youth behavior which against norms and regulations of society which is left unchecked would give rise to criminality. Juvenile refers to a person of tender year, a minor, a youth, or those who are not emancipated by law, those who are below the age of majority. Refers to a person below 18 years of age or those but unable to fully take care of themselves for abuse, neglect, cruelty, exploitation, or discrimination because of physical and mental disability or conditions. According to RA 6809, an act lowering the age of majority from 21 to 18 and amending such as Purpose E0209 approved on December 13, 1989. Delinquency refers to the failure to perform an act by law or the non-performance of duty or obligation that is mandated by existing law of rule. Delinquent is one whose behavior was brought a minor or child in repeated conflict with the law. Status offense. An act or omission which committed by an adult may not be considered punishable but which are generally considered wrong ones committed by a minor such as truancy or frequent unreasonable absenteeism from school, curfew violation, loitering, running away from home without justifiable cause, use of profane language, smoking and drinking alcoholic behaviors, disobedience to parents, guardians, or school official, mendicancy or begging in the streets, association with delinquent gangs. Stages of delinquency emergence. The child begins with petty larceny between 8 and sometime during the 12th year. First is exploration. He then may move on shoplifting and vandalism between age 12 to 14. Second is explosion. At age 13, substantial increase in variety of seriousness. The third is conflagration. At around 15, 4 or more types of crime are added. Fourth is outburst. Those who continue on adulthood will progress into more sophisticated or more violent forms of criminal behavior. Factor which may lead to juvenile delinquency. Faulty development of the child, lack of parental guidance, parental rejection, broken homes, lack of love, unfair treatment, too harsh discipline by either or both of the parents, too lenient discipline by either or both of the parents, parents' indifference to their child. Prevention of juvenile delinquency. The role of the different factors. Family shall be responsible for the primary nurturing, and rearing of children, which is critical delinquency prevention. Second is educational institutions shall work together with families, community, organizations, and agency in the prevention of juvenile delinquency and the rehabilitation and reintegration of child in conflict with the law. The third is mass media shall play an active role in the promotion of child rights and delinquency preventions by relaying consistent message through a balanced approach. Philippine laws affecting children. PD 798, Trussell Law. RA 6809, lowering the age of majority from 21 to 18 years old. RA 7658 on November 19, 1993, prohibiting the employment of children below 15 years of age in public or private. Undertaking in RA 923, December 19, 2003, amended provisions of RA 7610, Section 12 on child labor. RA 852, the Domestic Adoptions Act of 1998, enacted February 25, 1998. RA 8043, the Inter-Country Adoption Act. RA 8369, Family Courts Act of 1997. RA 9255, Law of the Use of Father's Surname of Illegitimate Children. RA 9523 on March 12, 2009, amended certain procedures on adoption. RA 9344, the Juvenile Justice Welfare Act of 2006, approved on April 28, 2006, effective May 14, 2006. RA 9775, enacting Pornography of Act of 2009. Administrative matter on 206 SC Juvenile in conflict with the law. NAPOLCOM Resolution 2009-417, Police Manual on the Management of Cases in CICL. Proclamation number 74, Section 1992, declaring the 7th day on October of every year as a National Children's Day. RA 1630, an act strengthening the juvenile justice system in the Philippines, amending RA 9344, approved on October 3, 2013. The second is Victimology. It's a study of victims and their patterns of victimization. From this perspective, the question is not why certain individuals or groups engage in criminal behavior. Instead, the emphasis is on explaining why certain people or groups experience victimization at certain times in certain places. Similarly, research on criminal justice has focused on how offenders are processed through the criminal justice system. Victimologies, in contrast, examination the dynamics, the demographics of criminal victimization. Like criminal offending, criminal victimization is not randomly distributed among the populace. Patterns of victimization show a high degree of consistency with respect to where and when they occur and who is victimized. The demographics of criminal victimization. Violent crimes rates. Individuals between the ages of 12 and 24 have the greatest chances of becoming the victims of crime, especially violent crime. Generally, from the early to the mid-20s, as one gets older, the rate of victimization decreases, with those older than age 65 having the lowest rate of victimizations for all crimes across gender and race. Men are victimized at higher rates than women are. For every offense except sexual assault or rape and simple assault, men have higher victimization rates than women. Males report that they are almost as likely to be victimized by someone known to them, 51%, as they are bystanders on 49%. While female, most of are victimized by someone they know. Females reports that more than 34-78% of those who violently victimize them are known to them. Women are much most likely to violently victimized by family members, spouses, boyfriends, or other persons known to them. The relational phenomenon is known as intimate victimization. Situational characteristics of victimization. Victimization is more likely to occur in places where there is high density of high-risk social groups. Urban centers hold the bulk of those living at or below the poverty level in the United States. And the victimization rates for cities reflects this fact. In 2002, urban residents had a rate of violent victimization nearly 1.5 times that of rural residents. Suburban and rural residents were victimized at a similar rates. Theoretical explanations for victimization. National data supports the observation that crimes victimization is not random. If this is the case, then what were factors that influence who is victimized and when the victimization occurs? Scholars who study victimization constructs theories to explain why some people are victims and others are not. The two most prominent explanations as to the causes of victimizations are victims' precipitation theories and lifestyle theories of victimization. Victim precipitation theories. These theories are based on the concept that victims themselves precipitate, contribute to provoke, or actually causes the outcome. These theories assume that some crimes, especially violent crimes, are interactions or transactions between victims and offenders. Victim precipitation means that the victim is not simply an object. Three facets on victim precipitation. First is victim contribution, refers to a person's actions or lack of actions that makes their victimization more likely. Victim proneness. This implies that some individuals or groups have a quality that makes them more likely to become victims of crimes. This can also refer to the fact that some victims are easy targets. For example, illegal immigrants may be targeted because they cannot report victimization to the police for fear of being deported. And the last one is the victim provocation theory suggests that the victim is the primary causes of his or her victimization. Marvin Wolfgang, 1958, study of Philadelphia homicides taken from police records for the years 1948 to 1952 brought the concept of victim provocation into the mainstreams of criminological thought. Wolfgang found that in a significant proportions of criminal homicide incidents, 26%, the victim had actually initiated the confrontation either verbally or through physical forces. Lifestyle theory of victimization. This theory seeks to explain why victimization can differ in quantity but remain the same in quality. In cities being researched, it was found that youths were at much greater risk of victimization than older persons, and men have substantially higher rates of victimization than women. The researchers found that the following conditions were met. The victim and the offender had the opportunity to come in contact with one another. There was some dispute between the two. The offender was willing to use force or stealth to achieve his or her goal. Theory of personal victimization. Lifestyle stands at the centerpiece of the theory of personal victimization because it is the pattern routines of person's everyday activities that predict the chances of exposure to high-risk situations. Differential association refers to the concept that people who associate regularly with others engaged in unlawful behavior are more likely to victimize because of their increased exposure to high-risk situations in environment. Routine activities theory. Another theory of victimization focuses on the context of crime in the term the opportunities for victimization. In 1979, Lawrence Cohen and Marcus Pelson developed an approach for analyzing changes in the level of crime over time known as routine activities theory. Like lifestyle theories, it recognizes the importance of people, everyday actions, and explanations for criminal victimization. Routine activities theories assume that all humans are motivated by desire to have things that given them pleasure or benefit and to avoid those things in situations that inflict pain. Differential opportunities. Differential opportunities are determined by structures of everyday lives. The time we leave home, the route who take work, or mode of transportations are favorite places for entertainment and the other routines of contemporary existence. Routine activities theory focuses on the circumstances in which crime occurs. Predatory victimization. Predatory victimization depends on the interaction of three variables in a social situation. First is the presence of at least one offender. The presence of at least one suitable target. The third is the absence of capable guardians who might prevent the crime. Rational choice theory of crime. The key assumption of routine activities theory is the idea of crime is motivated through rational choice. Rational choice theory is based on the fundamental beliefs that human behavior is directed toward those things that brings pleasure or benefit or that the minimize painful, unpleasant experience. Target hardening theory is one of the key components of defense against terrorist attacks in the United States, particularly attacking targets of terrorism, such as commercial aviation, nuclear reactors, federal building, infrastructure, bridge and tunnels, and symbolic targets. Famous monuments and symbols of government and business have been examined for the vulnerability, and additional security measures have been taken to make it more difficult to attack these targets. The general classes of victim according to Hans von Helveti. First is the young, the weak by virtue of age and immaturity. Second is the female, often less physically powerful and easily dominated by males. The old, the incapable of physical defense and the common object of confidence scheme. The mentality defective, those who are unable to think clearly. And the fifth is the emigrant, those who are unsure of the rules of conduct in the surrounding society. The sixth is the minorities. Racial prejudice may lead to victimization or unequal treatment by the agency of justice. Physiological types of victims. First, the depressed, those who submissive by virtue of emotional condition. Second is acquisitive or greedy, the value or act of wanting more propels such as individuals into victimization. The third is the wanton or overly sensual, those ruled by passion and thoughtless, seeking pleasure. The fourth is the lonesome, similar to acquisitive type of victim by virtue of wanting companionship or affection. The fifth is the heartbroken, those emotionally disturbed by virtue or of heartaches and pains. The sixth is the terminator, the type of victims who ask for it, often from his own family or friends.